Okay, this is the next step. When you remember, we put it in like this, the clay. It was sitting there for like 20 minutes, and then when you get your ring, you put it down, and then you put the pottery, and then it lifts up like this. So when it lifts up like that, you can see how much you need to add in there. So you can see where the thin areas at and where the thickness is. So that's one thing that you have to be careful how you're gonna form your pottery. Like for me, if I wanted to form it, I do the same thing. This time what you're gonna be doing is you're gonna be coiling. So what I mean by coil is you put a little bit water on top like this. Put a little bit water. Then you get your clay. Move your clay around to get it firm, soft. And then when you get it all done like that, then you just roll it. You're gonna roll it. It's okay if it's thick or thin, because like I said, some parts, if you look at this right here, this part is thin. See, it's thin. And then you're just gonna roll it with a coil. So you're just gonna roll it like this, back and forth. And you just need to put a little water on there. Like I said, you don't need to use a lot of water, but this is when you put it on there. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna put it in all the way down like this. You can use a paddle and kind of put it on there a little bit hard, stiffen it up a little bit in there. And then if you want to do, it's up to you if you want to just press it right away or you want to do the whole round. You can go all the way around and do the same thing, so you can move the whole thing together. I'm just gonna make a small one so you can see how this is done. So you just get your coils. Like I said, this clay sits for like more than three days. When it's done for 3 days, you can practically form it. And this clay is like dough. You don't have to. Just be careful what's in there. I seen kids, they eat the clay, but you have to remember that it's good, but then you have to be careful with it. So whatever's not there, then you grab it again and put water on here. And then you stick it on there like this. It's okay that it overlaps, because you can get your little cutting tool and then you just cut it. Oh, you cut it and then put it together. Hit it again on top. So when you have it like that, always remember that is in there, and you just use your thumb. You can wet your thumb, but you press it and then you just push it down like this, all the way around. Like I said, this is really good, this little turntable, because it really helps you out to move things. It's okay that it's overlap, because you're going to use the paddle to rise it. If you can, make sure this whole thing is together and it sticks together, because even though it's thick, it's okay, because you're going to form it with the thinness to the thickness. So you just use your fingers and go down, all the way down to connect, because that's when your cutting tools is going to come in handy, and you're going to learn to form your material. So even though that's like that, and when you look at inside, you're gonna do the same thing too. You're gonna get it and form it inside, and you're gonna put a little bit there, then you're gonna press it down like this, all the way down. And this is the tricky part because it's really, 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 really. Okay, see, now you can see that it's pushed down. You go in like this, see, you're pushing it in. When you have that in like that, then you get your cutting tool. Oh, did I bring my, I didn't bring a Pottery. I didn't bring the rock. And then you get this, and then you're gonna press it down. All the way around. You're gonna press it down all the way around like this. Okay, the next step is that when you're paddling, you can use an oval rock or a regular rock. You can get some of these at rivers or in the wash or anywhere where you go. You can get this kind of rock. And this is a smoothie because you're gonna learn how to smooth your clay. And these are smooth rocks, river rocks. And this is a pool kind too, like these. These are three different kinds of tools that you can use. Yeah, the cutting tools. This one is really easy to get rid of the ruffles. You can use this to make it more smoother, or this one right here. But this rock right here, or this one, I'm gonna show you how this one's done. And the same thing too is that you're gonna use water on your rocks, because if you don't put water, smooth it on your rock, it's gonna stick, your clay's gonna stick. So you always gotta remember to put a rock on there. And then when you're forming it, you can move it around like this. See the form that's going through? Because you're just connecting. So when you paddle, it's showing you that it's gonna try and get the all the way around to the thickness. And then you're gonna go all the way around. If you have different kinds, just to see which one you like, you can do any one of these. A lot of people have different choices. And what you're doing is that you're just slapping the clay to have the right evenness around there, because once you get that around, you're gonna put in another coil on your clay. And it all depends how big you want your pottery. But this is all you gotta do is smash it down like this to thin it out to make it even. You don't pull it, let the rock and your paddle work. You gotta learn to have control over this clay, because if you let this clay control you, it's gonna go all over the place. When I say all over the place, it's gonna go expand this. It'll go like this if you don't know how to control your clay. So what you do is you just move it in around and have to smooth things around there. And just go around and around and around. And then whatever is in there in the middle, in there inside, this is when you can use this, and then you just pull it. See, you just pull it inside like this to cover it up. And trying to have that evenness, not even. Around like this, and then you just you can do the same thing too. Just let it sit, because like I said, the temperature, you gotta be careful with the wind. So if it's like that and you want to continue on, you can get a rag like this and flip it over like this, and then you're just gonna make it go around. Good, because when you let it sit, it'll dry and then it'll make your mold. So you just go like this and just push it all up like this, then make it circle again around the bottom. And like I said, this little turntable is good. And then you just move it up to do when you pedal it down, it depends. You can use your hand and just slightly form it your way, however you want to form it. It could be a bowl, it could be an Oya, a little round one. Whatever you want to make, you just gotta form it a little bit. Push it down, let it sit, because with the wind, it's gonna dry it really fast. It depends. A lot of people say it's best to sit in the shade and not in the sun too much, because the sun will dry it really fast. You just gotta take care of it, and just bring your hand like this. You form it like this to make it round. So you just get it and you form it like this. Push it in together with your hand. See, it's forming on its own. You don't press it really hard. You're compacting it with your hand to make it more sturdy. And when you take a break and you wanna continue on making your pottery, and because it's still really wet and wibbly, what I usually do is you get a rag like this, your rag, and then bring this back, and then like if I want to take a break and eat lunch or do it again tomorrow, what I do is I just get it, wet it down like this, and then you cover it with a rag like this, and then you let it sit overnight to keep it wet, because you gotta have your clay wet, and work on it again tomorrow. And then you get a plastic bag like this, or any kind of bag, a trash bag, this kind of bag, and put it in there and continue working on there. I think the only time that you can do that is maybe have it at least a day or two to continue working on there, because you still have this texture in there. And then when you come back from your break, take it off, and then continue on wherever you want to start from. And then just mess around with your hands to trying to get all the excess out of here, like this little clumps. You gotta get rid of the clumps. Make sure it's all in there. So you're just trying to make it look nice and even, and go around and cover up all the spots. And then when I come back, we're gonna do another coil. But right now it's still kind of wet, and it's better to let it sit for a minute, because when it kind of sits a little to work on it, you'll rise up faster. You can keep rising, but just take your time on it. Don't rush it. Cracks like this, you'll see little cracks in there like this when you want to rush it, and then it'll start cracking. So you always try to be careful how you take care of your clay. And then use your rocks. Like I said, you don't have to be a $10 rock. You could be down the wash. People sell these kind of rocks at the swap meet here in Tucson on Palo Verde, and you can buy one of those mineral rocks. It's up to you where you get your rocks at. It doesn't have to be a gemstone, but you can go out hiking up in the mountains and you'll find something that you'll like. It'll come to you, and you take care of it. And when you do this, make sure you have good heart, good mind, good spirit, and work with your clay. If you don't work with your clay, it's not gonna work good if you're in a bad mood. But this is a good time for your inspiration. Feel yourself in here, because you're working with it, and you guys are connecting. This dirt is connecting with you, how you make your pieces. So always be careful. Always remember that. Remember what you want to do with this. It could be an ashtray. It could be another. People make little figurines. I call them figurines because it's really easy to make, like little quails. You can make little man candlesticks, man people dancing, and they paint stuff on there. And there are different other kinds of paints that you can use, and also with the clay. Some use red, some use white clay. So there's different clays that you can use. It's just where you get it at. So next time we'll continue on. I'll show you how big I get with this, and then next time I will teach you how to make paints. Okay?